So for today's topic, we're going to be going over powers of monomials. We're going to be taking our notes on power rule. And for this, you have one little key to help you remember how to do the powers of monomials. But to raise a monomial to a power, you're going to use the power rule. In that power rule, if you have x to the power of a raised to the power of b, all you do is just multiply your exponents. So it'd really just be x to the power of a times b. Okay, so let's put some numbers in with it. So we've got our directions, simplify some examples. Number 1, x to the power of 2 is raised to the power of 5. Remember, all you do is multiply your exponents. 2 times 5 is 10. So we just get x to the power of 10 for our answer for number 1. Okay, so let's do number 2. Sometimes you'll have more than one variable. Number 2, here's my variable m. We can multiply our exponents. 7 times 4 is 28. And then now I can go on to the variable n. All we do is multiply those exponents. 4 times 4 is 16. And then that one is all finished. So our last one here, number 3. So we've got our first variable c. And if you don't see an exponent there, we know there is an invisible 1. So I'm going to put my invisible 1 right here. And then we're going to multiply. 1 times 3 is 3. And then I can go on to the next variable, d. And then multiply. 2 times 3 is 6. And then there you go. That's your final answer there. Okay, so all you're really doing for power rule is just multiply your exponents. That's really how you do it with focusing on only the exponents, but sometimes you'll have some coefficients. So let's do some examples with coefficients. So what you're going to do is you raise the coefficient to the given power, and then you simplify using the power rule. Okay, so our first one here, number 4, we have 5x to the power of 7. All of that is raised to the power of 2. First, let's do 5 to the power of 2, or 5 squared. That's really 5 times 5 is 25. So here's my 25. I'm going to bring down 25. And then I can go on to my variables. My next variable is x. What would my exponent be for x? What would I put here? And you can turn your microphone on or you can type it in the chat. 14, perfect, because all you do is multiply. 7 times 2 is 14. So then there you go. That one's finished. Let's do another one. I'm going to skip around a little bit, leave you guys some to practice on your own. Next one, number 6. Let's first do the numbers, the coefficient, -2 to the power of 2. That's really -2 times -2. And a negative times a negative is a positive. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so here I get 4. And then I can go on to my next variable, p. What would my new exponent be for p? All you do is multiply the exponents. 4 times 2 is 8. Perfect. Good job. And then going on to our last variable, q. Multiply your exponents. 6 times 2 is 12. So then your final answer, 4 times p to the power of 8 times q to the power of 12. And then that is your final answer. Let's do another one. Number 8. So for number 8, first let's do -3 to the power of 3. -3 to the power of 3. That is really -3 times -3 times -3. So you don't even need a calculator for this. You can even do this without a calculator. You can first do the -3 times -3 is +9. and then bring down the times -3, and then multiply 9 times -3, and then we get a -27. Okay, so there's my -27. And then go on to my variable x, and then multiply 2 times 3 is 6. And then that is it. Okay, so that's pretty much how you do your power rule. And I left a couple examples there empty, so you can try them out on your own as well. Whoops. But let's do some mixed practice as well, because you're not just going to only do the power rule. Sometimes you'll have to mix it up and do a couple of things together. So let's do our directions here. So simplify each expression completely. So let's do number 10. So here we've got the power rule, and then eventually we're going to have to multiply everything together. So first, let's simplify our first term. So let's go ahead and do this. I've got my variable x, and we do power rule. So all you do is multiply your exponents. 3 times 3 is 9. And then I go on to my next variable, y. Here's my y. Multiply your exponents. 3 times 3 is, whoops, I said 3, so I wrote 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, so this one is simplified. So I'm going to bring all of this down, times x, y to the power of 2. Okay, so now we're going to be going to the product rule, which was last week. And I know I didn't do the actual live meeting, so I apologize for that. But you still should have been able to get through that. But for the product rule, all you do here is you add the exponents. So let's see here, we've got our variable x. Here's my variable x. So we've got a 9 plus, if you don't see your exponent there, there's an invisible 1. So we can do 9 plus 1 is 10. Okay, so I just did x. Now I'm going to go on to my next variable, y. Here's my y. What's my new exponent for y? What would I put here? This is the product rule. So all you do is add your exponents. 11, perfect, because 9 plus 2 is 11. And then there you go. That's your final answer there. Okay, let's do another one. Number 12. Hey, sometimes you'll have some coefficients as well. But for both of these, we have power to a power, power to a power, power to a power. So let's go ahead and simplify both of those first. So this is what we worked on today. So let's do first -2 squared, or -2 times -2 is +4. And then we can go on to our variables a. All you do is multiply your exponents. There's an invisible 1 right here. So 1 times 2 is 2. And then going on to our next one, b. Multiply your exponents. 2 times 2 is 4. So this first term is simplified. Let's go on to our next one. I'm going to bring down this multiplication sign. Next, we have 3 squared, or you can say 3 times 3 is 9. And then go on to the variables. Let's see, next one is a. We've got power to a power, the power rule, multiply your exponents. 2 times 2 is 4. And then our next variable, b, we can put the invisible 1. And then multiply. 1 times 2 is 2. Okay, now we need to multiply this times this. Okay, so this is from last week. Let's go through and multiply just the numbers first, the coefficients. 4 times 9, and we get 36. So we multiplied those. Then we can go on to our variable a. This is the product rule. So all you do is add your exponents. So we take the 2 and the 4, add it together. 2 plus 4 is 6. So that one's done. And then our last variable, b. Whoops. What's my new exponent for b? 6. Perfect. Because you add them together. 4 plus 2 is 6. And then there you go. That's your final answer. 36 times a to the 6th power, b to the 6th power. All right, last one together here, number 14. Okay, so first let's clean this up. We've got our power to a power rule. So first let's do 2 to the power of 3. That's really 2 to the power of 3 is really 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Bring down this times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. So now I've got 8. And then now I can go on to my variable a. Power of a power, so just multiply the exponents. 2 times 3 is 6. So that first term is simplified. This one's done. Now let's simplify here. Okay, I'm going to bring down this plus sign. And then here, let's go ahead and multiply, because if we have the two sets of parentheses next to each other, we know we're going to multiply. There's a little invisible multiplication sign in between. Let's first do our coefficients. We know there's an invisible 1 here. 1 times 3 is 3. And since we're multiplying, all you do is add your exponents. So here's my variable a. We're going to add the exponents. 4 plus 2 is 6. Okay? And then this is also from last week as well. This is going to be combined like terms. So we've got these two terms here, and we're adding them together. The only way we can add our coefficients together is if the last name or the variables and exponents are matching perfectly. So we've got a to the power of 6, a to the power of 6. These are the exact same thing. So that means, yes, we can combine like terms. Okay, so let's go ahead and combine like terms. I'm going to draw my two little things coming together as one. And when you combine like terms, all you do is combine your coefficients. So really, we're just going to look at the numbers. 8 plus 3 is 11. Oops. And then you just bring down that last name or the variables and exponents, a to the power of 6. So all of that together combined is 11 times a to the 6th power. Okay? And that is it. I know I skipped some on there, so I'm going to let you guys go ahead and work on a couple of problems on your own and practice it before the assignment for Thursday, because I think tomorrow is Alex, and then Thursday we work on the assignment. But that is it. If you have questions, you can ask me now or send me a message. But if not, then you can go ahead and log off. And that is it for today. So good job. Bye.